Hello, I am the Ronin Pawn, and welcome back to twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn livestream on twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn. I got the whole green screen thing set up behind me. We're all ready, and XCOM 2 completely and totally crashed my computer the moment that I clicked to play the game. And now, because it crashed my computer whilst we were going, I have no green screen. It's just, or rather, I have no webcam. Like, it no longer recognizes my webcam on the device thing. So, pardon me while I kiss this guy. The sky. Pardon me while I set every fucking thing back up because XCOM 2. You see, Harvey? You see why I have anger?
You could kiss this guy.
Oh God!
I would consent.
And now, audio engine.
Whoa.
There we go. You were starting to chop up. Okay.
Yeah, your audio chopped up for me.
We're back. So probably you're only going to be able to see Harvey's lovely face for this live stream because I tried clearing the device manager of the USB component and we got a live stream to do. Surely XCOM 2 won't screw the stream over completely twice.
So, I will try and pretend to be you. If you just give me like stage directions on what kind of expressions you're pulling at what time, you know, I'll do my best. You know.
Okay.
I'll try and mime along with whatever you're saying.
We'll just make you a little bit bigger since you're now in charge of the live stream here. Okay, thank you. All right, let's see. Now I'm gonna bet that that XCOM 2 didn't remember any of the audio turned down settings that I put in before it crashed, because that would be, you know, like a good team.
Convenient.
Yeah, that knew how to develop would have done that. Master volume is down. Sound effects value. Yeah, no, it remembered. All right, damn it! Did I just call Firaxis a good team? Shit.
I suppose you could say something about XCOM 2 being the Dark Souls of games. But it's more just the Dark Souls of trying to play a game.
Yeah. And actually, okay, so here's the thing. I've got the visual settings cranked up to absolutely full because it's a game from 2016 and I'm running on a hardware that didn't exist in 2016. So I was thinking, you know, let's crank it up. But between the live stream, which is consuming maybe 20% of the GPU, and XCOM, which is 60, I'm going to have to either turn down the settings or reduce the stream rate to a 30 frames per second kind of a thing. So let's start by just dumbing down my graphics settings to medium and see what happens on the old GPU. Yeah, we've dived down from 80% to 64. By the way, I've got the side of my case off. So, Hologram1 says, by the way, Pawn, next time we do Elite, it is easier for me to transparent. Is it easier for me to transparent my green screen or just leave it green for you to chroma yourself? Or are you just not going to bother despite the fact I bought this fancy, lovely green screen? Ooh, can Harv borrow it? Can,
Yeah, I need a green screen. Can I have that?
Yeah, if you're just in front of the green screen, then I'll take the time to set it up if we Elite Dangerous again in future. For now, let's see if I can't start in commander mode, reduced beginner VO, no tutorial, show the subtitles, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Oh wait, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash! We're still here. We're still here. I'm gonna skip the cutscenes, as I said before. You know what, maybe it was my USB camera. That's what caused it to crash. It wasn't the Herculean massive amount of resources that this game consumes from 2016, to the point where when it launched in 2016, like, I remember, oh shit, I'm having, can't find the word moment from CFS. Who was in the Kerbal Space Program group with us and played XCOM and was in the Firaxis,
Ryan the Solar Gamer?
He might have been, but no.
Or maybe Enter Elysium.
Enter Elysium. Jesus, I can't believe I couldn't remember that.
It's been a while. It's been a few years, you know?
Yes, it has. It has indeed. I remember him at the time loading up XCOM 2 on his water-cooled, paid-for by YouTube, you know, like, he was doing well, he was making money, he built a giant, massive system that was just for this, loaded up XCOM 2, and was getting, like, 30 frames per second average, and then, down to 12 occasionally. And I remember playing the last level of this game, and it went down to like 8 frames per second for not most of it, but in and out. And yeah, just they did not optimize this at all. But we're here. We're ready to play. Let's press any key to launch. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash.
Press any key except the crash key, which has been built into XCOM by Firaxis.
You may notice the stuttering that is happening for me as well. So visually just holding together. Also peaked to about 80% of CPU loading that in. So anyway, you gotta hold me back, Harv. Hold me back.
Well, I'm waiting to actually see some gameplay before I start commenting.
All right.
So,
if you're not familiar with XCOM, each of our soldiers here is going to be a rookie, so they're all pretty much the same. They might have slightly different, like, move range capabilities, randomized by a min-max roll, and you can move them within this grid-based radius to any of the locations forward. If you move within the blue grid, you will be on your first turn, which means you can take a second turn, including, like, taking a shot, firing at something. If you move outside of it, you'll go to the yellow grid, and that will consume all of your turns for that round. So if you move yellow and you positioned yourself somewhere that didn't work out well for you, you're kind of just hosed. And they have loaded me out in a place where I really can't find any good cover forward with any of these guys, except for you. I can do a blue move forward to half cover there. Pony Ice Creaming, when was the last time you played RimWorld, by the way? Have you played that, Harv?
I've never played RimWorld, no, but that was another thing that I think Enter Elysium played a lot of.
Yeah, I did a bit of a series on it when it was in early development, and it's finally gone full release, and I've actually got it downloaded and installed, but have not come back to it yet, Pony. We have located forward the first group of baddies. This is actually a really tough, like, layout, if you ask me anyway, that they've given me. I don't have any, ability to fall forward with any of the other guys to cover. On the first turn, we've got civilians standing over here, which means if I, step past them, they will see me, and I'll lose my stealthed aspect for the first round. And there are always 2 pods of bastards in this opening mission, which means I have to just take the risk of moving to somewhere like there, and really I should move with the people who are furthest back first.
Did you say that these maps are all pseudo-randomly generated?
Yeah, very pseudo on the randomly generated. They have, like, big chunks that are going to be the same every time, and then there's a little bit of randomness in deciding where those chunks are going to go. To the point where I really couldn't tell that there was random generation that they'd been touting in the marketing and the lead up to the release of it the first time that I played it.
I mean, that could be either a good thing or a bad thing. Because sometimes you want the careful crafting hand of human design. That just depends on how good the designer is.
Yeah. And the levels are... Well, I actually can't remember if I'd say that they're well designed or not. Ooh, I can move up to here. And that would give me... Okay, I'm going to tuck in there. There's at least... They've been doing this long enough to know how to build a pretty good XCOM level. I'm going to put my last troop into Overwatch here. Well, you're in concealed mode. If you go into Overwatch, they will not trigger and fire on someone unless you're seen. When you are seen, they're supposed to open fire on the bastards.
Not the civilians, right?
I got a good position up. I mean, sometimes you kill the civilians if they're in your way. I'm going to move Polina Dobrina. Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay, so we now know the mission for this first, the first mission's mission is to plant C4 right there. And we found the first pod of little bastards, and they all have 4 ticks of health, which kind of sucks because it means I think a single grenade will not kill them. Or it isn't guaranteed to kill them anyway. Also, we are very blocked in terms of where I can safely move. And not a lot of full cover forward. I think I will take my Erica Wilson, and move her, tuck her up there into full cover on her left and half cover forward. And then George Martin. Ooh, I like that name. That's somebody, right? Yeah.
That's George R.R. Martin, right? What's he doing here? Shouldn't he be writing the book?
I'm just gonna sidestep Jonas Schneider over to full cover here, and
Wait,
apparently,
Joe Schneider is also another person.
is he?
Not Jonas, though. Yeah, Joe Schneider's somebody. I can't remember who, but I like the name generation.
It sounds like a congressman or something. What it sounds like to
Yeah,
me.
that's actually the image I got as well. He does sound like that. I guess we'll find
So
out.
I guess what I'll do is she's closest. So she's going to have some pretty good shots on people. One of the things that I didn't like about XCOM 2 was that when you start the game, you can literally be standing next to some. You can walk right up to them with a AK-47 in hand, point it at their chest, and you'll have an 85% chance to hit. They
Yeah,
decided to
classic.
really nerf the ability to do like criticals from flanking positions until your soldiers level up, and it always felt a little like just bad. Just like, it shouldn't be like
It
that. If I'm
feels
willing to
like
take the risk to stand out of cover, then come on.
it feels like a decision that was made in order to prevent the game from being too easy, but wasn't made with. But they had to sacrifice just logic and like the theme of the game.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And it wasn't like that in XCOM, and I don't know why they had to break a system that was pretty much working. I guess what I'm going to do, none of these guys can actually get a grenade to them except for the one who's close enough to have a good shot. So I'm going to put all of my rear soldiers into Overwatch. And then I'm going to lob the grenade with the one person who actually does have a good shot and has a chance to hit. So I'm basically going to be wasting a
Mm.
bunch of ammo if they survive this, probably. But we might get lucky. And I'm going to throw the grenade, and that should trigger them, which will, once they start moving, trigger my overwatches, and then we'll get a chance to bomb them, and then, roll the dice and see if we hit them 3 times. So let's find out how statistics work in XCOM 2. Go! Frag is out. I love her haircut. Okay, it did 3 damage on each of them. None of them are dead. They're all down to 1 health.
Mm.
And since there's no red fog in XCOM 2, which is the idea that they shoot worse if they've been injured, that means that all of these people are equally threatening to me, despite the fact that I've just thrown a bomb up them. We did kill 2 of them, and 2 people immediately got promotions from those kills. It's going to be the enemy's turn. He's
And
still
then the last guy
alive.
decided to shoot the ground.
And he falls back to full cover and puts a lot of distance between him and us. Didn't see him throw down an Overwatch, so he must have, yeah, he yellow moved apparently all the way back there, unless I'm misreading the scenario. There is a second pod out here somewhere, so we can't just rush forward, but I do need to be moving people up into, well, up on him, and it would be preferable to keep them in full cover. He's back there. This will give me kind of full cover, although I could be easily flanked. It'll also, we'll start moving forward slowly, and we'll be checking for the second pod's enemy position.
Is there equality of mechanics between you and the opponent? So you mentioned that guy you think did a yellow run all the way back. So their movement system's the same as you. Their abilities, are they the same, or do they have their own abilities?
It's been a while since I played, but I believe, yeah, the rules are... They should be operating on a similar set of rules, especially just sort of these grunt soldiers. The longer you go into the game, you get more types of enemies, obviously, that have their own abilities, but they still, follow a set of rules. That as you play, you'll be deciding that's a bunch of bullshit, and those rules aren't fair.
Hey, I'm the unbiased one.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Stop trying to bias me.
He is really embedded behind that. I mean, that's full cover. I guess what I could do is try and get close enough to lob a grenade at him, but we're so far away at this point. Basically, he's got me in a position where if I fall in on him, I have to move to, like, half cover, and that's what I'm going to have to do. So it's good tactics on his part. Oh, and there's the other 3 bastards here.
Ooh.
And one of them is the commander, the fellow in red there, and he has the ability to mark us and basically increase the chance of all of his boys to hit by 10 or 20% or something like that. So he'll be doing that very shortly, is what I would expect. However, he did also stand in, like,
Open.
almost no
Completely
cover.
open.
He has
Yeah.
cover against George Martin, but I still have moves to take, brah. You know, as long as I can get close enough with one of these people, and I should be able to here. The only problem is it is luring me into half cover if I go for this tempting thing. And I don't think I can kill him because he's got 7 bars of health, and my weapon does a maximum of 5 damage. So he's kind of tempting me to step out and see what I can do to him. Right now we've got 25% chance to hit on both of those bastards there. It's the opening mission, and you might say, Jesus, you're taking a lot on the opening mission, aren't you, Pawn? Like, good God, it's not that hard, is it? The opening mission on anything but, like, the starter level always felt like a coin flip. If you're not playing in normal difficulty mode, like I went up to veteran from whatever it was before that, it's really a 50-50 thing whether or not you're going to come out of this thing without losing most of your soldiers, is how I've always felt about it. So I am taking my time. I've got 50-50 chances on these 2 troopers at the corners. I think I'll take a shot on this guy from you. The other option is I could hunker down with her so that she doesn't get blasted in the face, which would probably be not a bad idea. But we just don't have any cover forward anyway, so I'm going to have to take risks with somebody, and it's going to be you. Polina Dobrynina, you now have
Alright, get ready to die, Polina.
I'm the commanding officer, so take that shot. Yeah! We hit him. 3 damage. We also hit the little pillar a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Jonas Schneider. I'm going to move him up into the full cover position that Nina had. Nina's less valuable now because she threw her grenade already, so fuck her. Being in full cover, I'm going to take this 45% chance to hit the fella who's here. 50-50 coin flip, we missed. Okay. Yeah, you adjust those sights. Prick. Erica Wilson and George Martin have already moved, and Erica is in kind of a flankable position here, but she's also got full cover, so I think, unless she's got a real good shot, she has no good shot. She's going to be our overwatch for the round, try and keep them from moving on us, which is what the commanding officer is going to have to do since I now have him in flank. And I'm going to... I have to choose right here whether or not to take one of these shots or to hunker George R.R. Martin. You know, do we want him to finish the books? Do we not?
I mean, it seems like they are in a worse position to advance on you right now. But do they advance, or will they just wait there until...
Oh, they'll come at me.
Okay.
Although, yeah, and sometimes they do it in such a way that you're like, oh, come on! Like, it's almost unfair that they're willing to sacrifice their lives to get, you know, the shot on you, and it's like, but you... okay, I'm just going to take the shot.
You, Paul.
Yeah, that's just... George R.R. Martin puts 3 damage into one of these guys, but again, because the stock troopers have 4 health... Duck, George! Okay, George just got hit for 3 damage. He's down to 1 health as well. Oof. Commanding officer didn't target anybody. Oh, he's moving, so it's triggering our overwatch. And we missed. And he has moved into a position to try and be able to flank our overwatcher in the next round. He's also marked one of our soldiers, so it will be easier for them to shoot on her. Hopefully they will avoid George Martin and take shots at her, and they have, missing the first shot. And we've got one more soldier out here, I believe. Might be 2 even. Oh, wow. Wow! You just stood out of cover again! Alright, whatever. So they now 2 of my soldiers are down to 1 health as well. But they did leave themselves, like, he moved into flank and took a shot. Harvey, if you ever design AI... maybe it's, you can justify it and say, well, it's cause this, that, or that. I just think, no, it's not. It's just bad AI. Like, your soldiers shouldn't, especially on the higher levels, they shouldn't willfully sacrifice themselves. Unless that's what they do, and that's what their character thing is, and I don't know. Anyway, we do have him in flank from at least one of our soldiers. What about the other soldier who's back here? Can you see him? Too far away to see him. We could, however, with your grenade, possibly drop these 2 pillars. I'm not sure if those pillars are permanent. At the very least, they might be able to be destroyed to half cover from full cover. But Paulina, you are kind of up a creek. with not a lot of a paddle, anyway.
Not many pedals.
Yeah. Few paddles for Polina, is what we'd like to say. And you are, going to be flanked in the next turn by this fella, if I don't do something with you. We've got no overwatches to have to worry about. You do have a grenade left. Grenade wouldn't kill this guy, so we really do need to take shots on the commanding officer in the hopes that we'll roll in our 3 to 5 a 4 or a 5. I guess I will fall you in full cover here.
Moving to designated coordinates.
And now you're protected against his shots again. You only have a 34 on him, only a 27, and only a 27. Oh, that's awful. You'll be throwing a grenade, won't you, honey? George, you're in half cover now, so anywhere you go is equal or better. And it looks like there's no better. Ooh, there is better. Full cover here. I really have to press hard on them, and they can easily flank me in the next turn, but at least you'll be in full cover, George. Move up. How are your shots now? You got 76 on the guy who left himself in flank. 41 and a 32. So, George, they're very close together. You could take a lot of health off of that guy. Let's actually...
That does seem absolutely crazy that it's 41 on that guy right next to
you. Yeah. He is in some kind of cover anyway. I'm going to move Polina up here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with her, but now she's got a 72 as well. She's the one who doesn't have a grenade anymore. She's got a 49 on this fella, 32 because he's in full cover, and 26 over there. So we're not getting a lot of great shots on them. But nothing. I'm moving Jonas up to here. Basically, I think I'm just going to chuck a ton of grenades at them. That's my idea right now. So if... What's your shot on him? 69. So you're a grenade launcher. Oh, but you can only get one of them. You will kill one of them, though, if you hit him with the grenade. Can I get a grenade that hits both of them at once from George? George? No. George? Yes. All right, George, do that. So he's not going to kill the one that stood out with this grenade, but he will kill that one and drop the health of the other down to 1 tick. Now, one of these two can take out the next dude, and Polina had the better shot on the guy who stood in no cover. So 72%. Got him. Sometimes you miss those.
Very nice.
Quite often you miss those 70s, Harv. It's really good.
Well, presumably 30% of the time.
Yeah.
But it probably just feels like more.
I'm just going to grenade this guy to death because it's a guaranteed kill. So now we're just down to the commanding officer, who is quite the problem. Erica only has a 34. She could grenade him, and she will grenade him, because he won't die from this, which means we'll get to kill him with a shot at the end, and that's more likely to give them experience points to level up, I think. So he's now down to 1 health. It's their turn, and we've spent, I think, all of our ordnance. Everyone's thrown a grenade.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite a spree of grenades just now.
And this is the first mission, and it's, like, tough, to walk out without losing somebody. Erica?
I do kind of like that, though. I quite like the steep difficulty curve.
Now watch this, Harv. I'm just gonna sit back and wait for the stream to come up.
Yeah, exactly.
My ammo's running low.
What do you think of that?
I think that wall is probably made of plywood.
85% perfect flank. That's as good as you can do with a rookie in this game. You get him into flank, you're just right there. That's a 78. I just moved. All right, just take that shot.
I would say generally, like, when I think about designing games in general, I'm not a massive fan of RNG. It feels very much like manufactured difficulty. That's just, oh, we need it to be harder in general, so let's just tweak these percentages a little bit. Feels a bit lazy.
I like a bit of RNG. That's what I like about XCOM. It is, there's a die roll involved anyway, but the original XCOM definitely managed its RNG better, I feel, because if you, got somebody in a flank and you were 1 tile away from them, that was going to hit, and it was going to crit. 100%. Unless they had some kind of boost against that. And in this game, you know, that was a perfect
It
flank.
just seems... It seems like the way they scale the RNG here isn't good.
Yeah. Now this time, this actually worked well, so sometimes an enemy will drop a piece of kit, and they'll have like a 9-tile, 3x3 tile around where they died, where you have to move into to pick it up. I already had a soldier in that area, so it registers that she's in it, and it says, she just stoops down and grabs it. That worked this time. We will keep an eye on that, because that was one of the
You're just waiting,
regular
aren't you?
bugs. That was an old bug in XCOM. You would literally like move into the area and it wouldn't trigger. You would be in the area and it wouldn't trigger. And there was... I am waiting. I am waiting. Alright, so we've killed both of the baddies. All we have to do is move on to this tile, both of the pods of baddies, and plant the C4. And that's the mission done. I could look over at chat a little bit now. Thank you. Thank you. Pony said my mental age is 20, which is pretty accurate because I'm going to be 20 in a few months. Oh, good. You always want to be, honestly, the idea that people want to stay young forever and just be children until the day they die. No, like the sooner that you can feel like you're in your late 30s, the better. Because it just like you get confident in yourself, and also you've screwed up enough to know when you're completely wrong and just be like, all right, I was wrong there, without having to beat yourself up. You know how to deal with other people. So yeah, being at least your age or a little bit older in your mind is, I recommend it.
I feel more mature than my... Well, I think throughout my teenage years I felt more mature than my age. But then that probably has something to do with being a teenager. Now... I don't know whether it's that I surround myself with people who are similar maturity, but I'd say I'm probably fairly typical for a 21-year-old. Who knows?
So, two things I want to draw attention to. One, that took for fucking ever to unload the mission to go back to base. Two, throughout it, while we're sitting in this closed environment, it's a room with 4 people in it, and they're animated, and it's a sequence, and there's no... This thing was just lagging visually all over the place. Camera would stop. And I'm going to check on the next time that we clear a mission whether or not you can still hit the tab key while the game is unloading from a mission, and it will immediately go to the press any key to continue thing. Because the developers, Firaxis, actually built in, while they were developing, a little button that would skip the cleanup part of their code so that they wouldn't have to sit through it, because it took so goddamn long to unload a level, and they forgot to take it out before they launched it, so you could hit
So
tab
wait, what's
instead.
the consequence if you do that? It just stays in memory. Like
that may be the source of, many, many bugs, because people didn't want to sit here and wait for 45 seconds just to unload the level. And if you're hitting tab, then who knows what the consequences are. That there's, cleanup, there's crap left in memory that ends up causing bugs later. I don't know. So, should I not press the button? I'm going to press the button to see if it still works.
I want to see.
Yeah. All of my soldiers have been promoted. So, let's see what they came up as. Specialists. Okay, so our first one came up as a specialist. She gets a little drone camera person, does some hacking for you. I think it can zap people later in the game and stuff like that. Erica Wilson becomes a specialist, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Raffle, open, I need, let's see, or no, gimme soldiers. There is a raffle now open in chat. You can use your pawn points to buy raffle tickets in it, and apparently that's how you do it. You see how Noah did it. Tickets, buy, and then the number of tickets that you want to buy, bearing in mind that each ticket costs a certain amount of pawn points that I'm not aware. You'd have to ask Noah, I guess. Erica Wilson, however, has become whatever she is. Moving on. George R.R. Martin with the mutton chops has Become a sniper? Yeah, sharpshooter. All right, lovely. Lovely. Always good to get a sharpshooter early.
Oh, I just love those mutton chops as well. Doesn't he just look
Yeah.
so good?
Yeah. Isn't that what George R. R. Martin looks a little bit heavier, but say mutton chops?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that deliberate?
We also got...
It's not close enough.
What do we get? Oh, a grenadier. Grenadier gets the Gatling gun and a grenade launcher. Kind of... I like it. It's a good class. It makes sense for the class to be that way. But maybe it's... I don't know. It seems like an odd choice because you're giving, like, your heavy... 2 really heavy weapons to carry around. And I just don't know how that really figures. That here's a Gatling gun to carry, and while you're carrying the Gatling gun, here, put this grenade launcher on your back for when you need that, too. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I mean, specialization is pretty standard. I don't see much of a problem with that.
And we got ourselves a samurai, a swordsman. Very, very helpful.
That I do see a problem with, because that sounds really useless in a ranged game.
That's a good point, but it will, in fact, he'll probably be the most valuable person I got out here.
Is it the reason he's the most valuable? Just let me take a guess. Is that he's the only person who has a high RNG chance when he's standing next to someone to kill them?
Actually, yes, I think that does play into it. That is a big part. But also, he very quickly develops the ability to stay stealthed while everyone else is unstealthed, and then later, I believe, to drop back into stealth, which means that he can scout for you, and also the Rangers tend to have higher move, so they can legitimately, like, run across enemy lines and just stab a guy in the throat. And they still don't have a perfect to crit chance, if I remember from the beginning of the game. Or a perfect to hit chance. But they're better, I think. They might not be. Shit, Harv. It might be 80. We'll find out as we play.
Should be higher, shouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, with a sword. If you run up to a guy with a sword and you manage to not be able to cut them with it.
Do you reckon they were inspired by D&D? Because that's the exact kind of shit that happens in D&D. Oh, okay, I'm right next to this goblin? Well, I'll just punch him in the face. You punch the wall instead. What? Why? Well, you got a 1, so you break your knuckles.
Danelia Blonde, welcome to the channel. I don't recognize you. You new. Bamboozle level 100. I think in response to the fact that that Harv is on screen and I am not. So what happened was
I'm the face of the Ronin Porn Twitch channel, whereas Ronin Porn is the voice of the Ronin Porn Twitch channel.
What happened was Danila, or can I say Danelia? I like that, Danelia, but there's no I after it. But what happened was I started up XCOM 2, and as soon as I clicked the go button, it crashed my entire computer. So apparently that knocked out the USB drivers for my webcam, which means no webcam. And I got a green screen set up behind me. And
I mean, to be fair, it might be worth just restarting again to try and get the webcam back. I mean, how long do you reckon? Are you willing to sacrifice those few minutes?
Maybe during the live stream break, I suppose I could give it a restart. Yeah, when we come to the first live stream, which we will be coming up to shortly, I suppose, just a little bit after the hour here. So now I'm going to have to go through all of the story stuff and meet all the people. We're going to skip all of that, best as I can. We'll start up the first bit of research, which is either going to be researching weapons, researching armor, or researching, I think, the next mission progressing thing, alien biotech. We now have an opportunity to study the inner workings of the device to gain a better understanding of their motivations. One of the things, Harvey, that XCOM has done throughout its history is it doesn't really tell you what you're about to do, which is kind of in-world. You know, you can say that for it, that you're going to do some research and it's not necessarily clear what this research is going to, you know, what you're going to discover from it.
So it's very much like, oh yes, well, this is the story, this is the filler text of what this will do. Oh really? Yes, in game, this man is going to go do this research on this computer. Sure. And then in terms of the mechanics you actually receive,
yeah,
ambiguous.
It is like specific what you're going to get from what you select, but the flavor text does not communicate it. Necessarily. The later you get on, the more it's like, what the hell is that gonna do? And it's actually kind of, I like it again for like first play. Okay, thank you. I like it again for
It was
your
suggested
first
by the
play.
chat.
It's a good like in-world story building mechanic, and it's like, yeah, first time playing, but then it just becomes annoying because I as a player can't remember what that did, even though I knew what, I've done it before. And so it's like it just kind of weighs on you that, oh, but I know what that, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna look it up.
Yeah.
This
Danelia,
character,
I'm going to call him Danelia. Danelia asks, does Harv understand what's going on? Do you mean this live stream specifically, or just generally world politics? The situation in Iran is beyond me.
Commander.
I actually like this character. She's cute, she's got her own will, she's not just bullshit character that they threw in. I like her. But we're gonna
She
skip her
passed the
text
Bechdel
as well.
test.
You lived in one of the colonies for a few years before leaving
And they
the
all
Central,
talk to
right?
you throughout the friggin' game. And it gets kind of annoying. Actually, they're talking to each other and not you, most often.
Oh, that's
so,
weird.
Most cities don't seem to
Yeah.
follow that
Ignore
If I
it.
go to the armory, is that where I do this? It's been so long. If I view my soldiers, George Martin is gravely wounded and will be out of commission for the next 16 days. Paulina Dobrynina, from wherever that flag is from, is gravely wounded and will be out for the next 23 days. But I picked up a little bit of kit that I could give to someone, and I believe it was like, it's something that a sharpshooter would want. So George, even though you're out for a minute, if I were to go into your loadout, is it under here? How do I... it's been so long.
I like how his character is still in the I'm crouching and I'm gravely wounded. As if even though you've got back to the ship, you've like dragged him out of his hospital bed, thrown him down in the middle of the room and said, "Kneel!"
And I have. So that's fair enough.
Yes.
This is where we're also going to give these soldiers names, so maybe we'll do that after the live stream break. Anyone in chat who hasn't joined the raffle, you can use the command ! What? I'm going to scroll up to make sure. Tickets, and then the word buy, and then the number of tickets that you'd like to buy, and you'll be using your pawn points, which are just accrued by showing up in chat and then being here during the streams. So feel free to tickets plural, Dramatian, but tickets buy and then the number that you'd like. Soldier abilities? No, that's his abilities. How is it that I give them the equipment? It's not under loadout apparently, and it's not under the weapon. Well, you know what? It'll be later on when we're like loading them up for a mission. I think I'll be able to find it then. But for now, I'll leave these people unnamed. At least until we set up for the next mission, which is going to be basically immediately. Yeah, because I don't know what to do in this game. It's been too long, and I'm not following along with the story, so...
Commander,
Oh, let's watch this one anyway.
Welcome to the bridge.
Oh no!
The aliens have our entire
Perfect.
world in their grip. Advent controls everything.
You know what? In fact, let me just shorthand this for you. We're gorillas. They own the planet, because they actually won XCOM, the first one, apparently, even though we won when we played it, but they won in the long run, off-screen. So they run it, and we're a little guerrilla faction, and I do have to give it to Firaxis that, again, first-time player, you get in, the first mission is kind of a coin toss when you're playing, whether or not you're going to come out after losing soldiers and stuff like that, and I feel like that's good story building, because you are going to be the guerrilla group, you are going to be the, people who are already on their back heels trying to make something work. So doing that first mission and possibly taking losses as opposed to being like, this is how the game works and feel good about your chances, it is very good story building. It doesn't work as well for replayability, but it's very good.
They could have gone either way with it, really, because it's good story building to start you off on the back foot. But you could argue that in terms of getting the player engaged, then it might be a more emotional experience to kind of build things up and then take it away from them. But yeah, I mean, for the story, it makes far more sense. And I like that it's a difficult game.
Yes, it's definitely a difficult game, and it doesn't lay off either. I really don't know what to do or what would be good tactics because it's been just so long, so I'm just going to go to the first thing that they told me to go to here, and we're going to start scanning this service depot because when we're done with it, we'll get supplies, and supplies are worth something that I don't remember either. Okay, we've actually finished researching armor, so if we go back over here, it's going to tell us what we found, and we apparently invented the nanoscale vest, which I should be able to buy, and then, you know, it'll help people not get
So
shot.
nano scale vest. It's a vest which is this big.
So if you get shot there, you're safe, but anywhere else in your body.
Yeah, that's like the Bible in your front chest pocket. You know, it was a miracle.
Alright, so we learned the nanoscale vest. It's a light armor underlay derived from Advent armor. This vest can be worn with all XCOM armors to increase soldier health. I believe it'll give you +1, if I remember correctly. Now we have the choice of researching modular weapons or alien biotech. The reason why we can't investigate plated armor is that it costs 10 alien alloys, of which I have apparently 0. So that'll get in the way. Let's go for weapons next. Yeah, you assumed I'd make the choice that yeah, as soon as the soon and the soon. Soonly. I'll get on that soonish. Alright, go.
Strategic resource located.
Okay, we got 48 supplies. I don't know what good that is, but we've got it. We're going to fly back to Resistance HQ. We're basically just waiting for the next mission to come up, and they're introducing the idea that you control where you are on the map and can go to these different sites and things. After our recent success, Commander, members of the Resistance in West Asia have brought us reports of activity that we may want to investigate, and if we do, we'll get ourselves a new engineer, which will help us when we go to make things faster or research things. I don't remember entirely. As I say, it's been a while. Danelia Blonde saying this game is difficult until you get into the cheese fest that is War of the Chosen. Really? So the DLC for the game kind of... What? Did they really mess it up? Tell me. I hate Firaxis. No. I'm being objective. Objective?
Give me more material to fester my hatred with. I was just marveling actually in the chat at Noah. Apparently, you've got a word similarity thing between the commands and what people ask the bot to do. That's a good idea. I like that.
Really?
I wonder whether you say that. Yeah, Noah was saying that he has a percentage of certainty, but is that certainty percentage just like a oh, what's it called? There's a proper name, but a distance estimator, basically, like number of letters different. I wonder how that works. So if Noah wants to tell us in the chat, that would be cool.
You know what? I think I forgot entirely this end of the game, which is building facilities and stuff. Can I do that immediately? And I've probably already, like, wasted time by not. So I'm going to start, I think, by digging this out. Can I do that yet? Assign engineers? And I don't have any engineers? Ah, so that's... Alright, so I haven't screwed that up yet. If we go to build facilities, though, I do have one empty room. Is there something I can build in there? I could either have a lab, a workshop, a power relay, or a guerrilla tactics school. Now, a lab
What
says...
is this place supposed to be? Why are there rooms that are on fire? Or smoldering in some way?
We're flying in... I think this is meant to be a stolen battleship. I think we stole it from the aliens. And,
from the aliens, right.
Yeah, and they kind of drove us out of our own facility, and so as a guerrilla group, yeah, this is our last hope, is this one big ship that we managed to take from them. Presumably at great losses. So if I built a laboratory, scientists can be staffed in laboratories to provide additional assistance, decreasing the time of all research projects. If I built a workshop, engineers would be staffed, creating unique gremlin drones which can be sent to staff any adjacent room or facility. I remember this, so actually this is an interesting mechanic. If I were to build a engineering plant here, then I think I'd get one and then I can buy another or something, but you can get little gremlin drones that will act as engineers in the rooms adjacent to it, which can be used to increase power and get jobs done faster and stuff. Power relay is, you know, more power, which I've got 6 of 12 right now, so I guess I'm fine. Pony asks to be made into a gremlin, so that's I'll get on that. And then the Guerrilla Tactics School unlocks additional skills and benefits for soldiers, including an increase to the number of soldiers we can take on a single mission, so builds that right now. I don't know. That's what I'm doing anyway. And back to the actual game. There's
Sounds
a lot
pretty good.
of between mission management that when you're first playing it, it kind of gets in the way of the pacing, but once you understand it, it's like, okay, bing, bing, bang, yep, bing that, sure, okay, research that. It eventually picks up, but it does kind of take a minute to get underfoot. I'm going to keep searching for this engineer, and while we do, we've acquired a new target for our guerrilla operations against Advent, so let's review that target. Apparently over in West Asia, which is definitely what that looks like on my map. That's definitely West Asia there. Don't know what happened with, like, reverse Pangea, I think, must have, and upside down reverse Pangea. But West Asia, it's just Northwest Asia is all it is. I just,
It's
you know,
just a
I don't
big
think of
map.
Russia as Asia. For me, you know, just Russia is like its own thing. Like, you guys can
It's
have all
funny.
that, call it your own continent.
Well, it's funny because one of my flatmates is Ukrainian, and he really hates it when we say he's basically Asian.
Okay, we're gonna go to this target site. We're gonna fuck some people up.
Sector 15, West Asia.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised by the length of time spending between missions.
Yeah, and
like
I'm
you
not
said, there's a lot of
bullshitting
stuff.
too much here. I mean, I think I'm going at the same pace that a new player would be going because I am
Yeah,
forgetting a lot of stuff. And we've skipped a bunch of freaking cutscenes. You don't even know. We've been here for 15 minutes watching all the damn cutscenes. Noah's got a big block of text there. You want to read
Yeah,
that?
I just read it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so apparently the robot or Nobot, it's in the next version, the similarity matching, but Twitch's API is the crux of the matter. But apparently, it looks for a certain percentage, and if it finds a multiple above that percentage, it just doesn't do anything. Whereas if it's
okay.
only one, it will execute that command extend. That's good design. I can get behind that. That's cool.
Well, I think what we're going to do is go to a live stream break. Welcome to the deck of the USS Enterprise. Normally I'd be sitting there, but it's just you know, the evil
It's all
alien
mine.
on the screen who's
Oh, I've just made the connection. By being on the screen, I am the enemy. You've been saying I'm the enemy this entire time.
maybe.
How dare you, Born?
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a live stream break, and this live stream break is actually going to be, apparently the live stream is going to shut down after a couple of minutes, because I actually do need to step away and pee. So we'll leave the live stream on, we'll get into the live stream break. When I get back from peeing, and whatever else it is that I do during the live stream break, it's none of your goddamn business, the stream will go
Restarting
down.
to try and get the webcam back. Yeah.
I will restart the computer. In fact, since I'm going to be doing that, let me just make sure that I go out and save from where we are right now. Save the game. New save. With Harv, I'll call it. And then quit to desktop. Yeah. So we're going to go to the live stream break. The live stream will go down for a few minutes. When it comes back up, we will carry on. And hopefully, my webcam will be working.
And we'll all get to see your lovely face once more. And me hovering over your shoulder.
I do
rather than
apologize
stealing the
for
center
that.
show.
My lovely
Oh, I know.
face.
I love it. I get all the attention. I want people to see me.
Okay, 7 minutes. We'll be back then. Pawn, Harv, not out. Wait, so it's start Fubar in safe mode because it crashed last. No, start it normally.
Come on.
There we go. Pawn,
Leave me hanging.
not
Here we go.
out. And we are still hearable.